What is a good word? Welcome to this LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube live event. With me today is Katie Jordan, and you're going to love Katie. She is a former behavior analyst. Oh boy, that's scary for me. She's turned business, marketing, and mindset coach with over 20 years' experience. She's worked extensively in the health and wellness space, as well as with startups and tech startups globally. Her work has contributed to clients reaching the NASDAQ and receiving Forbes features and taking their brands global. So, Katie Jordan, welcome to this live event today on the Sales Made Easy podcast. What's the good word?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today, Harry. I'm excited to dig into our topic.
Yes, and our topic is all about organic content and earned media, if I have that right. Is that what we're talking about today, Katie?
You betcha.
And you and I were just talking a little bit about this. And, some of the challenges that people have that I've seen is that sometimes people might get frustrated with social media. They're not seeing results fast enough. That would be one. So they tire out. Other times they don't know which platform to use. They use all of them and then none of them. So that's the thing. Others may decide that their niche is different today or niche, however we say the niche thing. It varies. We're in the political season here in the US. So some people feel like, well, I'm going to talk about politics to let everyone know what I feel. And then other days I'm going to talk about exercise. And another day I'm going to talk about what my real topic is. And they're all over the map. So, Katie, I've got to ask, where should people start?
Well, I'm a big fan. In the last handful of years, my framework in my business has started out with vision work. And so that's where I've kind of married this whole mindset and coaching piece in with the business and marketing because there's an old proverb that says you've got to write the vision and make it plain so that those who read it can run with it. And if you don't start there, then you and your team are you've got nowhere to go. And I guess what I like to call it, and other people too, like you're just spraying and praying out into the wild. Even your comments about, some one day someone posts about exercise and the next day it's politics or whatever. Like those are the things you want to avoid. And so you got to start with the vision work first. You want to write that vision. From the vision comes your values. That's all connected.
Oh, nice.
And then from there, once you've done that work, you can pull out the goals that are going to start moving you forward. You can't really put those goals out there. They're not going to be in alignment if you don't have that connected to your vision and your values piece.
Yeah, I'm just looking back. I love what I'm hearing already about the vision and values. Years ago, when I started out on social media and LinkedIn, especially because that's where the business people are generally, um, I had zero strategy. It was, I knew I needed to use it. I knew I needed to connect with people, but it's all over the map without any real strategy. So what if someone is down the road a little bit, um, and they're not really seeing success? Is it too late to kind of figure this out as to where they need to be going, or what's your thought on that?
No, I think you got to reel it back and you got to bring it back to the vision piece. You've got to do the groundwork first so you can build out your business and marketing plan, your strategy on a firm foundation. So you can always dial it back and bring things back into alignment and start over, right? It's the groundwork that takes a little bit more, time, but it's worth the investment to move forward because then you know what trajectory you're working on for working towards your goals. So yeah, it's not too late, that's for sure. The other piece that comes from that is that you're going to see that it's not just about your marketing social media piece that ties in with your sales,
Mm-hmm.
which can include social selling. I'm a fan of, and it doesn't have to be salesy, as we know.
Yeah.
And then from there too, we also know that your email list is a huge, piece. How are you getting people to your email list? So you really are marrying all the pieces together. It's not just one avenue, the social media piece, that's going to drive your business forward. Yes, you need a presence. and every business is different and how much and how big you show up. But it all comes back. Let's do the groundwork first.
Yeah, really good. So just to help clarify the topic here, we're talking about this organic content and earned media. So can you kind of explain what they are so that we're all on the same page here? People
Yeah,
listening
you
as
bet.
well.
So your organic time online is really about the time that you choose to spend online. You've done your groundwork, you've got your plan in place, and you are putting out your own content, your own media. Maybe you've hosted interviews with people as you're doing with me. This for you, Harry, today, right now, would be owned media. And you can share this, for time to come organically across your channels without a need to spend money on ads or anything like that, and just repurpose the content and be able to use it in that way. Another piece of it would be the time you spend, carefully, of course, according to your plan, laid out how long are you going to spend commenting on other people's content, or retweeting if you're on Twitter and sharing other people's content, things like that online. So you don't have to spend a ton of time on that. It can be very strategic in how you do it and where you show up across other people's audiences, obviously. So all of that lays hand to the organic piece. And then with earned media, this is earned media for me. I'm coming on your real estate today. And so for me, pieces of content like this can then be, spliced up over time. I can tag you back. And we can share this out for time to come for people to get little nuggets of wisdom from us as, as the months go on. You can use that for a long time, right? So it doesn't really outdate. Other pieces of earned media could be getting mentioned in Forbes. I know I've been mentioned in Forbes. I didn't pay for that. It just happened. And so those are things that can happen from being active and being like organically online, connecting with someone, answering a question, all those pieces. So earned media, has potential for you to stretch out over different audience over a longer period of time without having to pay money. It could be guesting on other people's podcasts and lives like this, guest blog posts, not quite as common as they used to be, but still. I used to write for a handful of publications in the health and wellness space. So that was another piece, that established me as an expert in my field in that space. So the earned media piece is other people's real estate, so to speak.
Nice. Thank you for that clarification there. So on the organic side, which is what I do primarily, but when you mention it, it's like, I guess I've got a lot of earned media out there, which is me guesting on other people's podcasts. So what should I be doing with that? Do I just kind of let it sit out there and hope that people find it? Or what would be a suggestion for those of us who've been guesting on these podcasts for years?
All right. So this is the fun part. I love this because I do this with my clients as well, but I do have one I've mentioned that's in the tech space and AI, all about humans and AI, really. And they are called Lately. And there's certainly other tools out there, but Lately will help splice this video up for us after, and we're going to disseminate the content across different channels and tag each other back, all the things. I can get you a handful of those posts for you to share on your channels as well, so that we can then further share it. You can link back to the original interview, whatever you like. You can send this out in your newsletters. If there's a topic that you've been on that you want to send out in your newsletters and it's from the past, you can repurpose and reuse it to draw people back to that interview as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can leverage all of that past content as well. Something else that you can do is transcribe. Lately, we'll do that as well. Transcribe the whole interview. It can be made into a blog post then. Things like that. So then you have some more, real estate happening on your own website if you'd like to post as a blog as well.
Yeah. So the guesting on podcasts and hosting a podcast, there is so much content that comes out of it. It's I don't want to use the word overwhelming, but you're not going to run out of content. I don't think anytime soon. When you look, I listened to Gary Vee one time, and he talked about guesting. I think it was guesting on podcasts or hosting a podcast. I think he said 7 or 8 different forms of content that could come out from the podcast. And you mentioned a few of them there. And so it's like, if you do this every week, and then you think about how many times you're posting and how many clips you get. I mean, one podcast can give you 20 clips, right? Maybe you say, I'm going to take 10, but that gives you 2 posts a day during the weekday. It gives you YouTube shorts, TikTok shorts, if you want to go that route, which I've gone recently over the past year, building up my community outside of LinkedIn even. So there's a lot of things that people can do, but sometimes we might run out of ideas, right? So we start, it's like, I've got nothing. I can't think of anything today. So I'm going to take a picture of my cat and remind the world that I have a cat. And then, which is okay. It shows a little humanity side. I'm not judging people, but there's also some different things we can do with AI. You mentioned it. So talk to me a little bit about the value of AI for this.
Yeah, for sure. So tools, there's a handful of tools out there that are more on the human and AI side of things. And so I have, full disclosure, had the honor of working with Lately for just, over 6 years now in this space. And so just to watch, them grow and evolve and just keep that human piece. It's actually neuroscience driven AI. And I myself am even in the process right now of a neuroscience coaching certification, because we know what the brain can do and is capable of, and we know where we can go with the vision, right? So the AI,
I'm still learning that. So
it's a process for sure, right? Like our brains are wired towards the negative, and we need to take the thought captive and figure out what the truth is. So so neuroscience driven AI, it's taking your content. Like if we put this video in from today into Lately, it's going to come up with dozens of social posts for us based on this content, but it's basing it off of our voices. It's learning from us. And so your dashboard's being trained on your voice, and it becomes stronger and stronger in you and what you're doing. You just go in and tweak it to add what you need or take out something if you like. But really it's really about those pieces being married together. So tools like that can be very helpful. And also, keep that selling with dignity piece in place, because you're sharing content with dignity and still has integrity, because it's your voice. It's not just something plugged into ChatGPT and sprayed out into the wilderness of the online world. But it really is keeping it authentic to you. And then there's other tools that are amazing that I love using. Dustin Stout's Magi is another tool. If somebody is paying for ChatGPT, you could just pay a little less for Magi and get many different models under one roof, also different personas. That, we could do a whole talk on specifically, training the AI and how you're prompting the AI. Because that's a whole other thing too. You're going to get out of that what you're putting in, just like you would with Lately, but it's reading your voice and your model. Magi has a lot of different models under one roof, which is super helpful. Even like for images, you can do images over there as well. So it makes it a bit more cost effective for sure. But it is about the prompts that you're putting in, right? So you want to be very specific, and that's a whole other conversation.
I mean, the whole value of the AI, I believe, not the whole value, but a big portion of it is knowing what prompts to use.
Yeah. And once you get with that, then you're gold. You're going to actually start saving yourself some time. And we know when we save some time, we save some money too.
Yeah. So the other thing on the earned media, and doing a little research for this, is finding, people doing testimonials for us, maybe endorsements and so forth. So how might we use that?
Those are great.
Those types of things.
Yeah, if you can get video testimonials, that's amazing because we know that videos get more eyeballs, just like
Mm,
doing a live like this, and that the replay is there for time to come. But also, video testimonials, being able to share those and sprinkle those out as part of your plan, absolutely. And any of those testimonials that you have the opportunity to tag someone back, then you're also sharing the love for their business as
mm,
well and whatever they're up
yeah.
to. So it's super kind of helpful either direction there. It can work just as well if you have testimonials that you have made up into some graphic cards and things like that too. But I totally encourage that just tagging and sharing the love back.
Excellent. One of the things just came to mind, Katie, was related to podcast guesting, is that promotion. And I know I have felt this before, and I see the way you help promote this event. You have absolutely what appears to be zero concern about promoting something that you're tied into. Whereas some of us might feel like we're pushing out ourselves too much and people don't want to see us, so we hold back. And I used to feel this way. How would you speak to those people who are guesting on podcasts and maybe not promoting because they just have this thought that they don't want to overdo it?
Again, that just comes down to being strategic. It also comes down to our mindset.
Mm,
Um, we have something to offer other people, and we don't know who those people are going to be. And so, if we're being invited to come and show up and just share our gifts and our knowledge, then who I don't know who I'm helping today or want to replay
right.
by coming to sit down with you. I'm totally humbled and honored that you would ask me to be here. We're just here to help, just here to serve, right? So
Yeah.
I think it just is a mindset piece and what angle you're coming at it from. Um, some might be coming at it from like there might be a sense of urgency. Man, I've got to be on all these podcasts so that I can get more clients and get
Mm,
myself out there. And there may be some underlying things that you need to check if you're feeling triggered.
yeah.
So all those pieces tie in with how you're going to operate and how you're going to show up in your business. There's another old saying that says what's in the heart is what's going to come out. And
Yeah.
so that's how you got to work through that.
Yeah, really good. And I love what you just said, really, is that we don't know who's listening and who's watching. So I've looked at it a couple of ways. One is I try to step out of my body in this, and I know it sounds weird, step out of my mind and say, I'm not Harry Spate anymore. I work for Harry Spate. I'm
Yes.
Harry's assistant. So I'm going to promote Harry's today and what he does in his niche about sales. Harry's not feeling great. Harry's a little grumpy, but Harry's assistant, man, I'm on my game today, right? So that's one tool I've used. And the other one is maybe there's a person that needs this today out there on all of these different channels. Maybe there's one person that needs this today, and I'm going to just throw it out there and see if that one person finds it. And I may never know. What's your thought about those two things?
Well, when I dial it back to that vision work, that's a piece of what I do with people. And so that piece is that we are not our business. We are
Mm,
separate. Just like I have teenagers, I have kids.
yeah.
I'm not just their mom.
Yeah.
As much as I love them to bits and get called,
Yeah.
so and so's mom.
You get ignored.
We are not like that's not our identity. That's
Yeah.
not where we're coming from.
Mm,
We're still coming up to show up and to serve. I believe that selling is serving.
mm,
Um, and so I hope that makes sense. Like that's a piece that I lead people through. It's like, what
right.
does this look like? Because you are separate to your business. You are not your business.
Yeah.
And so it is okay. I know what you meant when you said this sounds a little weird, but I'm
Yeah.
like, no, actually take a look outside of the box here because you have other things, that are a part of you that are super important. Husband, wife, father,
Yeah.
grandfather, whatever, like all of these
Mhm.
things. And those are all important.
Yeah. Yeah. really good. And then this idea that I mean, we all have gifts. I think this is the other thing, is that others will say things like, I've got nothing new to say. Everyone said it before, so why should I bother? And they get discouraged because of that. What would be your take on that?
My take on that is that we all are showing up in our unique giftings, and how we show up might resonate differently with someone than have them having heard the same thing from someone a year ago. It might trigger a memory for them and help them move forward and take action. Anything's possible there, right? So those are all pieces that play a part.
Yeah, I love it. You know, the thing that and if you don't think about this, but I mean, there's really nothing new under the sun. I mean, that's an old saying as well. And we repeat it, and you know, someone hears it, it's like, oh yeah. And so then it registers. You could hear something for like 50 times, but someone else says it and it registers. And this is very true with my kids, by the way. Over the years, I think I've said the same things over and over again. And then someone else says the exact same thing. They said, Dad, this person is so brilliant. They said that I need to get up early and go to work and be productive. And it's like, yeah, I might have said that once or twice, right? But whatever it is, it registers sometimes when we're ready to hear it, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's true of our marketing, right? Like they used to say it was 7 touch points. Now it's so many more. That's the importance of leveraging your earned and organic media, being able to, disseminate that in different ways across your channels according to your strategy and the tools that you're using.
Awesome. What suggestions would you have? So you said one of the first things to do is really have this conversation about your vision and where you want to go, right? What else would you suggest for people?
Well, starting with that foundational piece. And so for me, that's a whole 90-minute, 2-hour session that, that it's very dialed down. And so then from there, we get the values piece comes, right? Then you're pulling out your goals. So you're building everything out on a firm foundation. Then you're able to, strategically figure out which tools you want to use. I know I mentioned Lately, I mentioned Magi. Those are 2 favorites. I'm even going to throw one more in there, Content at Scale. That really is about the AI and human piece for creating content if you need that type of tool. But yeah, so you can decide what tools that you need to help you get the job done from there. But, then you're building out whether you're guesting on different podcasts or speaking at events, things like that. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, when I hear what you're saying is 90 minutes to a couple of hours, there's an investment in that. The benefit of this is it can save, I'm going to say, years of wrongly used strategies or lack of strategy on social media, right? I mean, have you seen this, or what's your thought on that?
Yeah, absolutely. This work has had people, I'm a big fan, we're like holistic beings, right? Body, mind, spirit, the whole piece. And so when there's something else going on in life, then things can be out of alignment. So it doesn't matter if there's something off in your business, it can make things be out of alignment in your personal. Something personal can make it out of alignment in your business, all those things, right? And so doing this work helps you shine a light on things that might need to be addressed. And that could be something personal, and it could also be something business, but it's still going to help keep you in order and bring things into alignment so that you can pull out those goals for how you're going to move your business forward. Sometimes it does mean personally doing the work as well.
Yeah. I mean, the same is true with sales. I feel the same. It's like, you cannot go out and treat a client wonderfully and then come home and be the exact opposite, right? So it is all tied in together. It's the way you treat people. It's like you should be able to treat people pretty much well everywhere, right? Yeah, good deal. So what did I leave out, Katie? What thoughts do you have here in the closing minutes here that you want to get out to the audience here?
Well, I think it is to consider, consider what your groundwork is, consider that vision piece and doing the work to build out, your vision and values, being able to pull your goals out from that. And then strategically using earned media, like just I'm encouraging everyone watching or catching the replay today to just, where can you guest? If you host video lives like this one, who else would you like to join? And just, get that schedule going, get your assistant booking you, whatever that looks like. And how much of that, because Harry, you're right. Over at Lately, the CEO, Kate, can be on tons of podcasts. There is so much content. You are right. So how much do you want content? How do you want to share it? Just consider how you can leverage it, because it's good for sharing the love for other people that you want to collaborate with in business, but it also is kind of a free way of spending your time and how you share that content after as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, not everyone has to watch your content, every piece of it, or they don't have to read every bit, right? They can choose not to, right? So that's okay, right?
That's
Find
okay
the ones
too.
that, yeah. What's your thought? You were just saying something. I think I was talking over you.
Oh, I know. I think it froze for a sec.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, you're totally right. We get to choose what content we consume, right? And
Yeah.
so someone might just catch a snippet, and someone may choose to watch the whole thing. But just, how are you showing up? How are you being of service?
Yeah, and I think another thing that just came to my mind is when you're constantly visible, people see that you're reliable, that you're there, right? And they may take you for granted for a little bit, but they're going to see you, and they're more likely to remember you when they need you because you're there. If you disappear and say, well, I'm going to take some months off or weeks off or whatever, use some of the stuff that was already created. Find a VA and put out some stuff. If you don't want to recreate, get some stuff out there that still keeps you consistent in front of others. Katie, we were talking a little bit about maybe some little gift or opportunity that people could find more of you and see some of the insight and value that you provide. Where can people find you?
People can find me. My name is on the screen here. I think I'm tagged in the post, so you can find me at Katie Jordan almost anywhere. And I can drop a link into the comments for if anyone wants to connect for like a 20-minute consult. Then I'm happy to do a quick audit or whatever you want to talk about. You can come hang out with me for a little bit if you like.
Yes. All right. Awesome. I highly suggest it. I met Katie over a Zoom meeting, and I saw the value, and I was like, I need to get this lady on this live event because she's awesome. So thank you so much for joining us today, Katie. And one other thing is, you mentioned the name of this Lately. I'd like to just put that in the comments. Is it Lately?
Yes, lately.ai.
Okay. All right, cool. And I'm just going to make that as a comment, and then we can look it up and find more great stuff out there and repurpose some of our content here. So thanks again. It's been a real blast.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Okay. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see more of you. We're going to have all kinds of clips, all kinds of tagging. It's going to be amazing.